wabarakatuh. Thank you for the time that has given to me. The first, let me introduce myself. My name is UMMI NURHASANAH with ID number A12121067. Alright, today I will present my proposal seminar about the use of digital flashcard to develop vocabulary mastery of the 7th grade students of SMP Lab School Palu. Alright, in here my background is according to Harmer, Yulsardi and Ratmadida 2021, vocabulary is one of the most important components of language and is the first thing that applied linguists pay attention to. And the next is vocabulary mastery is an important foundation in one's ability to communicate in a particular language. By having a rich vocabulary, one can express thoughts, feelings, and ideas more precisely and clearly, and enabling effective communication. And based on observation, the problems faced by students are lack of vocabulary, lack of ability to identify differences in word classes, and difficulty implementing vocabulary according to word classes in sentences. Next slide, please. Alright, based on the problem research, in this research, the researchers offers to use digital flashcard as a media to develop student vocabulary mastery when learning. The reason why researchers choose this media because the school that the researcher will investigate has not yet implemented the use of digital flashcard in English language learning. Therefore, researchers choose this media because researchers want to prove whether the use of digital flashcard media could increase vocabulary development or vice versa. The aim of learning vocabulary for students is so that students can know and identify vocabulary according to their place category and can apply it in the context of sentences. Students are also expected to be able to distinguish the word class categories of each word that has been taught, such as distinguishing which word classes include nouns, verbs, and adjectives. And next is about the problem statement. Based on the background above, the researchers raised the problem is, can the use of digital flashcard develop students' vocabulary mastery? And the next is, my objective of the research is to prove whether the use of digital flashcard can develop vocabulary mastery in students or vice versa. And the significance of the research, the first is researchers. In here, researcher will gain the deeper understanding about the use of technology while learning. And the next is curriculum, teachers. In here, teachers can improve their practice or improve the way to practice it or to teach in students. And the next is the students. The students will get the benefit of the use of flashcard in learning. And the next is other researchers. In here, other researchers will use this research to be references. And the last is the readers. And the next is scope of the research. In here, scope of the research is noun, verb, adjective, and the use of these word classes in sentences. And the next is operational definition of key terms. In here, there are two operational definitions of key terms. The first is vocabulary. As we all know, vocabulary is the collection of words or phrase in language that can be categorized or defined. And the next is digital flashcard. The first is about previous related studies. There are two my previous related studies in here. Based on my title is the use of digital flashcard to develop vocabulary mastery. The first research was conducted by Al-Hamdi and Elias 2020 entitled The Effect of Electronic Flashcard on EFL Students' Vocabulary Learning, the case of Saudi Arabia. The study aims to investigate the effect of electronic flashcard on EFL vocabulary learning of preparatory year female students at Saudi Arabia. It was conducted following the quantitative research methodology with a quasi-experimental design. Two groups were assigned: an experimental group who used electronic flashcards and a control group who employed the traditional method of vocabulary learning. A pre-test and post-test were administered to appraise their performance before and after the experiment. The results revealed that the post-test scores of students in the experimental group were significantly higher than their pre-test. Also, the results showed that electronic flashcard promotes students' vocabulary, casing a statistical significance in comparison to the control group. Based on these findings, the study was able to draw several implications and recommendations. Next slide, please. And the second research was conducted by Safira 2021 with entitled The Effect of Electronic Flashcard Learning Media on the English Vocabulary Mastery of 3rd grade students at SDN Taman Sari 2, Pulau Merah. This research aimed to investigate the impact of utilizing electronic flashcard learning media on the English vocabulary mastery of 3rd grade students, employing a quantitative approach with a quasi-experimental design. The research found a significant difference in English vocabulary skills between the control class and the experimental class after using flashcard media, with the experimental class demonstrating higher proficiency. The research recommends the use of flashcards as a learning tool to enhance English vocabulary skills, emphasizing the importance of interactive learning media in improving students' vocabulary mastery. The sample subjects of the study research were 3rd grade students, and the instrument used included electronic flashcards. The data collection techniques involved comparing at English vocabulary skills of the control class and the experimental class after using flashcard media. Alright, we move in theoretical perspective. In here, the definition of vocabulary according to Merriam in Rahmadi et al. 2023. The definition of vocabulary is a structure of words and some phrases usually composed in alphabetical order, and it is explained and defined in a dictionary. Alright, in here the first is my research design. In my research, I will use quasi-experimental design. And the population and the sample, the population is 7th grade students of SMP Lab School Palu, and the sample is 30 students, and the student will be conduct or 2 classes, 7A and 7B, where the 7A will be experimental class and the 7B will be as control class. And the next is research subject. Based on random sampling, the research subject is 7A and 7B. And the next is research variables. The research variable is the independent variables is the use of digital flashcard, and dependent variable is students' ability in vocabulary mastery. And the next is research instruments. In here, my research instrument is vocabulary test, and the test is consists of pre-test, and after the pre-test, I will use treatment, and the last is post-test. And the techniques of data collection is test, and techniques of data analysis, I will use statistical analysis. And the last is the tentative research timetable. In here, preparation phase about title submission, title approval, making references, division of mentors, and research preparation. On January, the first week and the second week after the third week. And the next is making proposal. I will making proposal in January on the 3 weeks and 4 weeks up until the 3rd on February. And the next is research stage, and the last is stage of testing until April in undergrad thesis examination. Alright, that's all of my presentation today. I do apologize if I have a lot of a mistake when I present my seminar, my proposal seminar. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.